Hey guys, not that there's anybody here, but I thought I'd give this live action a whirl. See if anybody wants to come and chat with me. If not, we'll just smoke a doobie and talk shit, because that's how that works. Haha. So I see there's like a little chat room here. So yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day here. It's been raining for days on end. Let up a couple hours ago. Well, this morning early. I've been taking advantage of the shitty weather. See how many miles I can put on these things. Grinding away, making trim. I don't have my weight numbers for last week, but pretty sure I did about 14 last week. Wasn't doing it hard or full time, but I'm pretty sure I was doing 2 a day at least. So 14, 15. Once the numbers are all crushed, I get about 2.25 per. So that'll be a pile of income coming in the next couple weeks. One kind of green or another. I've been working on my hash stash. It's getting fairly full of yumminess. This is my latest knot. As you can see is pretty blonde, pretty crispy. There's none in this joint because I have shit to do today. And if I smoke a bunch of that, I ain't doing it. So I'm not seeing anybody in here. I don't know if I would. Well, apparently I'm the only one in here, but that's okay. So, yeah, I've been staying at it, staying busy. And when I'm just sitting here doing that, my mind is doing this. And there's a lot of misconceptions about working in the cannabis industry that maybe should be cleared up. Number one, you're not going to get rich running a pair of scissors. Okay? Yes, there are places that will pay you $200 a pound to trim. Those places are rare and hard to get to work for. Most places here in Oregon are paying minimum wage or slightly better than that for processors. 15 to 18 an hour. You're not going to get rich in the weed industry unless you started off with money, or unless you got a stack of paper that big to work your way up in the industry with. It's just not going to happen. Okay. Another misconception. Working in the weed industry means you get all the weed you want. I wish. Okay. I have massive amounts of experience doing this. I have the resume. I have the references. I have the ability and the skill to do it quickly, correctly. And that's why I get paid when I get paid. You don't just jump into a trimming job and make what I make. Okay? I'm trimming for high-end customers with high-end taste and a very particular set of standards that they want met. So getting a job in the cannabis industry is no different than getting a job at Walmart or anywhere else, except you're supporting the cannabis industry, which I fully support. But don't expect that you're gonna get rich and have piles of weed falling out of your fucking pockets because you're working for Opia Farms or something. It's not gonna happen. That's not how things work. This isn't the Wild West where you can just stand around with a pair of scissors until you find work. Most people aren't going to hire you unless you got papers. Because the papers are really fucking simple to get here. And the penalty for employing people without them is too high. So anybody that hires you without papers is doing some shady shit and putting you and them at risk. No bueno. So that's the second misconception. If you work in the weed industry, weed's free. No, not even close. For the same reason, you don't get to bring boots home with you when you work for Wolverine. It's theft. You don't just get to have shit because you want it. It doesn't work like that. Another misconception. You're working with weed. How hard can it be? Pretty fucking hard. If you've never trimmed pot and you think it's easy, you're in for a fucking surprise. Just saying. It takes all your focus, all your attention, and you're sitting very still like this. For hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You see the point? I can fucking grab a hold of shit with this hand and you ain't getting away from me. I grab you with this hand, you better have some fucking kung fu. Because this hand's strong as fuck. I mean, this isn't a lot of tension. But you're doing it millions of times in a row. You're repeating that action. So you build up some muscle in your hand. I've noticed it in my guitar playing and my ability to thumb and finger pick. This way, I've noticed more strength in my fingers since I started trimming again, which is awesome. I love it. I wonder if I can make it through a whole Doobies with Doug episode, although this isn't really what this is. But they're generally about a half an hour. I wonder if I can go a whole half an hour without anybody showing up. That'd be cool. Be even cooler if somebody showed up and said, "Hey, Doug, good to see you." But I'm pretty sure I'm the kind of person that people rarely think about until rather my name or my face pops up in front of them. I really don't think there's a whole lot of people in the world who, at any amount of regularity, think to themselves, "Hey, I wonder what Doug's doing." I really don't. I'm of the opinion, and it's not unfounded, that even the people that love me are often and mostly annoyed with me. For one thing, I don't have a whole lot of tolerance for banalities and non-productive conversations. I like to chew the fat and shoot the shit as much as anybody else, but I like there to be some substance to it. If two people talking to each other is a conversation, is talking to yourself just a versation? Is it? Inquiring minds want to know. I also want to know who the fuck named dyslexia. Fucking prick. Who the fuck names a disease, a disorder, where letters get all scrambled up, dyslexia? Fucking asshole. I would also like to point out that if you spell phonetically, it's FUNETIK. Phonetic. So fuck phonetics. That's stupid. That fucking jumping jack, Jesus fucking Christ. For real? You can't spell phonics using phonics. Fuck off. By the way, if your kid has dyslexia, teaching them to sort things out using a mirror. Put a mirror down, have some images, A, B, C, D, what the letters are, so that they can look and see them forward and backward, and then slowly build up through into words. Well, this is just my wacky idea I had with a friend of mine's kid who had dyslexia. I won't say it solved it, but it sure helped her sort shit out. She doesn't read for fun, but she can read shit. So, some kind of mirroring image problem in your brain, and if you fuck with them switches enough, you can figure out a way to make them work. Just saying. It's odd to think about that not all that long ago. I would have went to prison for doing this. Smoking pot and broadcasting it on the air or the web or whatever the fuck you want to call it would put me in prison. They'd have came for me. Weird, isn't it? Holy fucking shit and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty enough out here today. Got all the rhododendrons are all blooming everywhere except the one behind my camper over here. But the second set, the first set already bloomed, but there's always 2 blooms of them, it seems like, and they're all blooming out good. And I was out walking earlier and went up on the hillside and on the away from the ocean, east of here, and walked up into the hills up in there, and the blackberries just have awesome flower sets on them. It's late spring rain we don't usually get. We had a dry winter and then a late wet spring, and that's really leading to the blackberries being just fucking vigorous as all fuck. They're not the indigenous blackberries. The indigenous blackberries are good too, but man, the invasive species, as they call them, are way better. They're Himalayan blackberries. And they're just giant, voracious, land-eating. Fucking get stalks on them that big around and berries that big, and they're just juicy as fuck. I got jars full of jelly from them last year still. And break one out. I go through about 1 every 2 weeks. I put it in everything. And I've had blackberries all over. Michigan grows some great blackberries. Best blackberries I ever had in my fucking life are off these mountains. Just fucking wow. You can't believe the flavor in them. And he's like, oh my God, it's almost like it's so intense and so strong that it almost tastes fake. It's just that exaggerated flavor. It's fucking great. And boy, does it make great jam. Usually when I eat blackberry jam, it tastes like sugar, and then the aftertaste is like blackberries. This stuff, first thing you fucking taste when you put it in your mouth is blackberries. Just enough tartness to make that fucking the flavor profile of the fucking blackberries pop. Flavonoids, yay. So it'll be a good year for those. And I'm thinking just because I'm so good at picking them, and not a lot of people are, because if you ever pick blackberries, they're not the funnest things in the world to pick. But because I know how to rake and sort, I'm thinking of getting, like 40, 50 pounds and selling them off the farmer's market. Might as well, because people love them. And people are like, oh, why are people going to buy blackberries? You can just pick them alongside the road. Well, some people might want, 5 pounds of blackberries. And you can't just pick 5 pounds of blackberries alongside the road unless you know what the fuck you're doing. But I found this spot last summer where there's like a really sharp ditch that goes this way. And there's like the road, it's flat. And then there's a ditch that goes down, and then just a wall that goes up, and then it slopes off again. So it's like a big berm alongside the road. And that whole berm was just fucking covered with them. And they're arching out over the ditch like this. So I could walk underneath the arch and just stomp a hole down through there and stand underneath them and just pick into it. I had a homemade berry picking bucket that I made. And I only want them about this deep and about that big around. Bigger so that the weight doesn't squish them. Wider is better. Bigger around and shallow so you don't squish them. So I got this thing on. Just fucking picking it as fast as I can. Dump them into the other bucket. Dump them into the other bucket. My buddy's comes over there and he says, I got 2 buckets. How many do you have? I said, 13. He's like, I think we're done. I'm like, okay, if you say so. And I tried teaching him how to use the rake, and he couldn't figure it out. He couldn't get the knack for it. And it's a hard thing to teach because it's really about just about feel. It's really a touch thing. That's a pretty nice joint. Yeah, we're at 20 minutes, 38 seconds. Live action. Yep. Oh boy, that's good. So yeah, live works. That's all I need to know about it, I guess. Uh, Thanks for taking a ride with me while I experience live for the first time. Not that I edit anything I put up anyway, except for adding special effects when I'm bored. I'm gonna call this good. Peace out, y'all.